That's why Marvel made things about the mantle, almost like a DC thing, eh? Which is kind of interesting how historically speaking, that's been more of a DC sort of thing, like passing on the mantle, like Batman has, and and even Superman? No, Superman. Well, I don't know. I guess he hasn't passed on the mantle. It's really a Batman thing that I can think of. Oh, and Green Lantern is a thing where that kind of passes on from hero to hero. But yeah, you're right. This was intended as kind of like a cool off period and kind of like a setting up period where we're kind of establishing some new heroes, right? Like Black Widow, yes, was about sort of like a farewell to the Scarlett Johansson character, but it also at the same time introduced a new Widow to us. And similarly, like there was Shang-Chi, a new hero. Eternals was supposed to be about a whole bunch of new heroes, but let's not talk about let's not talk about Eternals. And in fact, it didn't seem like over at the San Diego Comic-Con, our pal Kevin Feige didn't seem like he wanted to talk about Eternals either, because there was nothing about them. It was just kind of weird, but anyways, we'll see what they do with all that. But yeah, like I liked how they were establishing new heroes and everything. But nevertheless, I was sort of left wondering, like, where are we going with this? What's the direction? Blah blah blah. So I'm glad that, like, yeah, we're seeing like the bigger picture now. And to be fair, I feel like a lot of people, if you were sort of paying attention to the movies, right, you were kind of understanding. You could kind of like figure out where we were going anyways, right? Because of the whole multiverse aspect, and that will be that's the name of this present arc, is it not? Like the arc that we are currently in, it's going to be called the multiverse arc or something like that, right? Not Slide. They have tried with Superman, but it didn't stick with his son. Not Slide. They're able to establish new characters with legacy ties. It's nice. I didn't see Thor, but I think spoilers happen and establish a legacy mantle. Well, yeah. I guess I shouldn't really talk about anything about Thor, but it was good. It was good. And maybe some people think that it's going to go a certain way, but it doesn't necessarily go the way you think it is. I don't know. Can't really say. But I guess that, I mean, it is in the trailers, right? Like, you do see Jane as a Thor, right? So in that sense, it is something that can be passed on, and that's been a thing in the comics. So it's not like it's not like it's being pulled out of the blue, right? There's Beta Ray Bill and everything, who I was really kind of secretly hoping to see Beta Ray Bill, because I'm weird and I like Beta Ray Bill. I want to see a alien horse Thor, alien reptile horse Thor. How come we can't get one? Anyways, and they've been hinting at that race of that Beta Ray Bill comes from. I believe they're called Daxamites. They've been hinting at them in the Marvel movies as far back as the first Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a Daxamite skull at the very start of the movie that like Star-Lord like kicks or starts singing to. And then what appears to be Beta Ray Bill or some other Daxamite. I hope they're called Daxamites and I'm not just talking out my ass. But anyways, there appears to be another in Thor Ragnarok. There's that sort of like Mount Rushmore of former gladiatorial champions, and one of them is appears to be Beta Ray Bill or someone. Not Slide. I know the title is very apparent by the end of the movie, if you know what I mean. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the title of the movie is something that is something that, like, it becomes apparent what that means, like, almost right at the end. It's cool. It's cool. I liked it. It was, like, I have to say that it's silly. It is. There are times in that movie where it's just, like, I like silly. I like kind of dumb movies. I don't mind a little fun and silliness in my movies, but there are times in Thor Love and Thunder where it's like, wow, this is almost a little too silly. But, you know, whatever, who cares? Let's just, you know, come along for the ride and just enjoy the movie. And yeah, it was just a nice, enjoyable movie, I guess. Better than, you know, but that being said, I'm the one of those weird guys that actually likes Thor: The Dark World. People tend to slag Thor: The Dark World as like one of the worst Marvel movies, right? At least prior to the Eternals, but I don't know. I kind of like Dark World. All right. So here we are. This is a test base, guys. This is a test base again. And I think what I'm going to do with this is experiment with creating like the icy texture on top, which involves kind of like sanding it, putting some sand on top, and then adding some snow. And then we'll kind of see where we're at when we're done. So let's get some sandpaper. I guess we need some heavy grit sandpaper to create the texture. But yeah, what did you think, if you guys have seen the Marvel reveals from the weekend? What did you think of all that? Okay, here's some heavy grit sandpaper. Let's just scuff this up, see how this turns out. What did y'all think of the reveals? What did you think of the trailers and the direction of the Marvel universe, if that's something you actually care about? Because you know, I'm sure that some people don't really care, but anyways, I care because I'm a big nerd. Secret Wars. So Secret Wars is something that I'm not too familiar with. That would have been in an era where I was not paying attention to comics too much. I think so. They're talking about like the Secret Wars where there's like this whole multiverse thing, right? Is that the one? I think that's the one, right? Because wasn't there an older Secret Wars with like the Beyonder and shit? They're not doing that one. Depends on which one they do. Yeah, there's two options for Secret Wars. I suspect that they're doing the sort of like multiverse blah 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 Secret Wars, correct? Because I mean, they called the arc, they're calling this current universe current phase the multiverse, or multiverse wars, or some crap like that. And let's talk about predictions, because at the end of the day, this will be just predictions and speculation. I have no basis in any fact of what's going to happen, but I think I can kind of make a prediction, and it'll be fun. It's fun to make predictions. I just, you know, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that basically make their channel about telling you what's going to happen in the universe and all of that, and it's like, then these things don't actually happen, and it's like, you lied to me. Not like there's one from the 80s which was with Black Suit Spider-Man, but there's also the recent Secret Wars, and it was Marvel's Masterstroke story in MIO. Not slide. I'm gonna have to read that then, if it has the not slide seal of approval. I have to check that out. That sounds interesting. So here, I've been scuffing up the surface, but it's not enough. It's not enough to really make its presence known. So we're gonna kind of go in. It started with Hickman's run on FF, actually, and that's the one they're doing. Okay. Interesting, you mentioned Fantastic Four, because when they were talking about like Phase 6 or some crap like that, which is crazy that they're looking so far ahead, right? But when they were talking about that, Fantastic Four was part of that phase. Now I'm taking a knife and I'm kind of just scuffing up the surface more heavily, because again, we want to create that look of scratches in the ice. And again, I'm doing this on this because I'm doing this on this test base because I don't want to mess up what I have going on my other base. We're just gonna slowly build up our skills and how this is going to look. And even with these slight scratches already, I feel like we're kind of getting closer to what I had in mind for like an icy surface, right? An ice-covered body of water. I'm actually curious why Fantastic Four is so far off. Yeah, I would like it to be a lot sooner, because I'm actually kind of secretly a fan of Fantastic Four, even though they're kind of corny. Like, I like the idea that they're a family that goes on superhero adventures and stuff. Like, I don't know, that the whole idea appeals to me, and they get into some really crazy events and stuff, right? Like, you know, the Silver Surfer and Galactus and shit. Like, yeah, like Fantastic Four really gets into some really out there situations, so I'd really like to know more about it. But my prediction for why they're sort of introducing them so slowly, so much later, it kind of has to do with the fact that, like, they really want to build up Kang. They really want to build up Kang, the Conqueror, and I believe, well, we've already seen a variant of Kang within Loki, right? But even within Loki, the variant of this Kang has been teasing a much more fearsome version of himself, right? A much more fearsome version of Kang, which presumably will be the one that we ultimately will see in the far future, right? And I believe Kang's first cinematic appearance will be in Ant-Man, in the Ant-Man movies, the next Ant-Man. But I think they want to build up Kang first, right? And in doing so, everyone's going to be like, he's the big baddie. Then Fantastic Four comes in, and who they going to introduce in Fantastic Four? Doctor Doom, right? And then, again, I haven't read Secret War, but I believe Doctor Doom kind of is a big player in Secret Wars, I believe. So yeah, I think Doctor Doom is gonna steal the thunder from Kang. So they want to set up Kang first, and then Doctor Doom. I don't know. Hickman, Fantastic Four is so good, dude. Do you know who Kang is in relation to Fantastic Four? Is he related to them? Like, is he family? I don't actually recall. Is he related to them? I forget. Okay. Let's try and... I'm just trying to... carve away at this. Chip away at this. And that's looking pretty cool. It's a big spoiler, I will refrain. Okay. I mean, the funny thing about spoilers with the Marvel universe and the Marvel comic universe and the Marvel cinematic universe is that like Feige and all those guys, they are more than willing to diverge from canon, comic canon, right? They're more than willing to change things up from the comics. And for the most part, like I've ended up being pretty happy with everything that they've done, you know? There's some things, like, I feel like I would have loved to have the aspect of death involved with Thanos. You know, Thanos in the comics is supposed to be obsessed with death. and to the point where, you know, it's like the actual embodiment of the goddess or the concept of death is like somebody, it's like his waifu, right? He like loves her. And I would have loved to have that aspect in the movies as well, but I can see how something like that would have kind of diminished Thanos's own, what's the word I'm looking for? His own like authorship of everything that he's done. You know, the fact that like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm in love, rather than like something that he truly believed in. You know, I feel like that was one of those decisions that I'm kind of okay with. It'd be such an absurd divergence just to spite comic readers. Oh, I see. With the Kang deal, I'm still, you know what? I'm still gonna look it up because it's probably something that I've known at one point in time, but I've forgotten. I will say though that one of the things that I'm very excited about regarding the MCU and stuff is the suggestion of the building up of the Young Avengers. We've kind of seen a number of the Young Avengers already make an appearance in the MCU, like Elijah. Is it Elijah or Isaiah? Well, one of those Elijah or Isaiah Bradley, who becomes Patriot, and then we've seen Hawkeye and Stature and a number of other characters, and I suspect we're gonna see Hulkling in Secret Invasion, the TV show. But I'm very excited about the direction of, or the building up of the Young Avengers, and the fact that we have Kang, and I'm not going to say much more than that, but Kang also has some involvement with the Young Avengers too, which is rather exciting. Nathaniel Richards, the Young Avengers, Iron Lad, right. I don't know. Wait, hold on a second. Nathaniel Richards. I don't know who Nathaniel Richards is. The Young Avenger, but Iron Lad. I know about Iron Lad. Wait, is Iron Lad? That wasn't his real name though, was it? Nathaniel Richards. But yeah, Iron Lad. Yes. We're really geeking out here. Oh, that's his name. Oh, okay. Now I've put two and two together. As far as what you were saying previously, I see. Interesting. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Very cool. Okay. Let's see here. Reed Richards. What was Iron Lad's whole dilemma? He was trying to break free from his fate, if I'm not mistaken. I see. Yeah, so hopefully anyone else listening in on this conversation, it's probably far too insider baseball for for some folks to follow, but yeah. Strange. Strange. Yeah, that whole thing, I'm very excited to see where it goes with that. I think what I'm going to do is test this out on one of these, because we need to see how it looks on a base with actual sand and stuff on it. So we'll do that. And I think what I want to do is also get a little container of water. Let's get this here. Yeah, very cool, very cool. So I oh fuck, oof, don't cut myself here. Let's use this. Shit. Do you think, I do not think that they're going to use the same actor as they did for Mr. Fantastic when the Fantastic Four movie comes out. I don't think they're gonna use him then. I didn't think so then, and now talking about it just now, thinking about it over, I don't know. I don't think that they're gonna go that way. Careful. Yeah, shit. I know. Thank God this thing is blunt. This one is blunt. So yeah, let's use the actual sharp knife. And even this knife isn't too sharp. So let's double check. No, I must have some pretty tough skin. I mean, believe me, I've punctured myself that way before, so. I guess the resin did kind of get pretty hard if it's this hard to cut through. Yeah. See, Not Slide. I don't have a big problem with Jim from The Office, right? I don't have a huge problem with him as an actor, but he's kind of spoiled goods now because he's a dum-dum, right? Like, in what you see him do, what very little that you see him do in Doctor Strange, it's like, man, I thought this guy was smart. He's like so freaking dumb. That's why I think doing an earlier Fantastic Four would be sick. Like earlier as in like do one now, or do you mean earlier as in like they're a team from the olden days or something? Because I think that would be kind of cool too, actually. The whole Illuminati thing, man. It's a bummer. The Illuminati, it could have been cool, but they're all just dum-dums. But overall, I did like Doctor Strange. But they kind of did the Illuminati dirty. Oh, team stuck in time? Perhaps Ant-Man finds them? I don't know. Yes, I was just gonna say, yeah. That would be sick. Yeah, I do like the idea of them being like, not, like, I like the idea of them being an established team that's been lost, right? Because the other option is to have them be a thing that is invented now, like, and then it makes you think like, hold on a second, like, where were all these guys during Thanos and blah blah blah, right? You know? Give me a second, guys. I'm going to get a mask. I realized I'm sanding resin, so I should probably get a mask. So hold on. Alright guys, I have a mask on, so hopefully you can still hear me with the mask on. But yeah, I think you're onto something, Not Slide. They're gonna, yes, the Fantastic Four movie is gonna be a little ways out, but we're gonna get hints. I think from now on we're gonna get hints of the FF. Oh, and actually we already did get a, I mean, yeah. Obviously they kind of set up a multiverse version of the FF in Multiverse of Madness, but yeah, we're gonna see like a proper MCU timeline version get set up, I think. Very exciting. The only reason I know as much as I do about the Marvel cinema, like Marvel comic continuity and stuff. I mean, yeah, I have a fair amount of comics. I have a good amount of comics, and also between me and my brother and talking with friends, we built up a good collection of comics and comics knowledge. But also, like, the cards, the Marvel cards that came out, that's also another way that I came to, like, understand the Marvel universe. Was like the cards in the 90s. Okay, we're gonna try and scuff up this surface again, just like what I did before. But now I want to test it out on how it looks like on a base. On a base that has sand and stuff underneath it. And I think that maybe I scuffed, sorry, not scuffed. Maybe I mixed the resin on this batch not as nicely, because it does seem a little softer. But we'll see. Trying to create a scuffed up surface here. I think I gotta change my Muzak. Let's just loop this again. Yeah, so today is a day of experimenting and testing things out. I mean, this looks pretty okay. You kind of have to imagine it with some kind of texture underneath it, kind of like that, right? And then I'm gonna put some snow paste on top. And then we'll apply what we've learned here to the big model. And then really that model's going to be done. Like there's always going to be something that I'd like to change up more. There's like even the skin and some details that I'd like to probably adjust and tweak, but you know, good enough, right? Good enough. If I ever find a local painting competition, I might just work on it a bit more and then enter it, right? But for now, whatever, good enough for my own personal gratification. Okay, now let's try and... Yeah, I feel like this resin, it's not as hard because look, like I'm scratching the surface and it's kind of just... It's almost like a cutting mat. It feels like I'm cutting into like something like that. Yeah, so prediction time. I feel like Kang is being built up as the big bad, but then eventually he's going to get the thunder stolen from him by Doom. I think so. And it's all kind of like an interpersonal family kind of struggle, I guess, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, this one here, I can already tell that unfortunately it doesn't really... It has a bit of a rubbery quality to it, unlike this or the frost giant there, and so we're not getting the same results. Which which is very interesting because the scratching and scuffing really came out nicely on this. Let's do a bit more. And the results of this one are more similar to the base, the big base that is. Let's put some scratches going that way. Okay. Yeah, very weird though. So that's something I'll have to take note of, is you really have to mix the resin well. I think that is partially the problem that I'm experiencing with this. And it's not that it's bad. Like, if you want it to just be water, then it's fine, right? This is pretty fine. But if you want to work on this a little further and to do what I intend to do to the model, it needs to be mixed a whole lot better. So let's set those two aside then. And let's kind of clean up our table here. Let's do a little bit of cleanup so that we make sure there's no resin particles present, because that's not good. And you know, we've been talking about Fantastic Four, but hold on. The Black Panther stuff that they showed was like, whoa. It's one of those things where I'm like, wow, I'm actually human, because I'm about to frickin' cry here. It was so emotional. The whole Black Panther, the build up to the reveal of the trailer, they had some, like, an African band play some music or sing, like, live as they were walking through the crowds, and I was like, god damn it, like, even this is making me, like, feel some kind of emotion, feel some kind of way. And I was like, shit, I guess I'm human, because I'm feeling human emotions. I'm not just a robot. Yay. Namor looks sick, dude. Namor looks so good. And the decision to make him, I guess he's based off of Mayan culture or something along those lines. Like, the decision to go that way is like a stroke of genius, because, you know, like, with DC, they made Aquaman, Jason Momoa, and Jason Momoa is Samoan or Maori. And it was like, that is such a great idea. That's so cool, right? Because, like, you know, that's like a seafaring people. So that really makes sense. But actually, Jason Momoa is the only one that's like that, right? Because in the movie, like, his father is played by Django/Boba Fett, right? Also a Maori actor. And then his mom is frickin' Nicole Kidman, right? So all the other Atlanteans are just like, they're just like white people, right? Right? But with Atlantis in the Marvel universe, they're going all in with the Mexican or the Aztec or Mayan influence, and it's just really, really cool. I'm very excited to see that. Very, very cool. Namor, he's also definitely half human, but might not be a mutant. Yeah, it depends on how they start to break that down, because yeah, historically, there's been comics where they regard Namor as a mutant in the comics. So I don't know what they'll do for the movies, and it might not be entirely relevant for the purpose of the movie right now. Like, with the events of the movie, if they're going to establish him as being a mutant. And there's been speculation that the confrontation between the Atlanteans and the Wakandans is kind of like a manufactured conflict that it's being orchestrated by someone else, right? And who might that someone else be? Could it be Doom? I don't know, but that would be cool if it was Doom. Not slide. Little ankle wings are dumb as hell. Yeah, but you know what? I like it. I like it. I like it. He's the only one with those, right? I don't think the other Atlanteans have that. It's dumb, but I'm glad it's there, cause I don't know. I like a little silliness in my movies, and they could have had like it's his mutation, okay? Like they could have did a thing where it's like, oh, they're like magical anklets. Imperious Rex, yeah, that's his tagline. A little anklet thing, armor thing that he puts on, whatever. Just make it like the comics. At least they're not like so big that they'd be super distracting. And I guarantee you, someone in the movie is going to make a smart aleck comment about his little wings, and then everyone will laugh. That's the comic book formula, right? Like the comic book movie formula is to take anything that is perceived as silly within the comics and then explicitly out it, to explicitly point it out as being silly, and then it kind of deflates the situation. Like that's pretty much the formula ever since X-Men, the first X-Men movie in the 90s, when like Wolverine's like, oh, leather outfits, that's weird, and then Cyclops is like, what were you expecting? Yellow spandex, And so many movies do that now. Okay. Let us continue with this. Let's see how far we can push it. I'm going to dab this with some water to make sure that there's no resin residue on top. And I think I might kind of paint some water. Paint some white paint into this. Yeah, I'm super hyped up for Namor, dude. Namor is so cool. The thing I like about Namor is that he's kind of not, like, he's a good guy, but he's kind of not always a good guy, right? Like, he kind of just does what he wants. And I love the fact that he's, like, constantly trying to steal Reed Richards' wife, like, right in front of Reed. And that Sue is kind of down with it. Sue is always kind of down with Namor, but obviously she doesn't want to go like too far. But I love that whole relationship, the relationship dynamic of Namor and the Fantastic Four and Sue. I love that shit. It's a huge dick, yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see how this looks if we add a little bit of white frosting to it. At the very least, it'll kind of, the white paint will kind of go into the grooves of the scratches and kind of highlight that a bit. And then maybe we can take a sponge. Let's see, where's my trusty sponge? Here we are. Kind of have to wet it though. Let's get some tweezers. Some comic book depictions of Namor, sometimes he looks very like lean, and sometimes he some depictions of Namor, they make him look like a total dirtbag. Like, I also find that pretty funny too. I think it's the artist Alex Maleev in some comics. He just makes him look like hell. He looks so bad. like a scumbag kind of Namor. So he's a very versatile character that has a lot of aspects to him. But the actor that they have playing him, I've never heard of him. I've never seen him in anything. I don't know if you've seen him in anything, Not Slide, if you can, or if anyone else, if they have any input as to what he's done or if he's a good actor. I mean, I think he looks pretty cool, but yeah, I haven't actually seen him in anything. Okay, let's dab some more of this. Jose! How goes it, Jose? How are you today? I am working on Resin. This is a test base that I'm trying to create like a frosty, icy look. And here's an example of some other resin test bases that I've made for water. You can, if you look really closely, you can kind of see that there's sand underneath. It's very shiny, so it's a little hard to see. But yeah, that's a test base that I've done. And then here I can show, this is the big boy, the big frost giant with the water. And we're gonna be making it look icy. That is the plan. But before I do that, I need to experiment with the resin and see if we can. Whoa, being distracted here. See if we can get a cool frosty look to it. And yeah, so I'm just taking the resin and I'm adding layers of white to it to kind of create more of a frost. And so now it's kind of losing that transparentness. You can still see through it, but it's getting like frosted over a bit, which is what we want. Let's let this dry a bit, and then we can bust out this right here. Citadel color technical Valhallan Blizzard right here. And this is how it'll look, kind of, right here. This is an example of my frost base. I've shown this before, but yeah. This is the plan for all of this. All of this. That's the plan. And then this guy will be pretty much done, which I'm very happy. I'll be very happy to finally finish up that guy, you know. Working on him for a while now, right? I bought that model in February. But I didn't truly start working on it until like maybe a month or so ago. But yeah. Alright, I'm back. No. Vanilla OST always cheers me up. Yeah, it's so catchy. It's hard to Jose. It's hard to really feel bad when you're listening to this. It's so upbeat and happy. Let's just keep on listening to it then. But I will put it down a little bit. At least on my end. You know, I actually really like Katamari Damacy, the game. And the creator of the game, the director of the game, Keita Takahashi, for a long time, that guy was like my creative inspiration. Like, I wanted to be that guy, because this is he went to art school, Keita Takahashi. He actually went to like a real artsy fartsy kind of program, if I'm not mistaken, and he did a lot of sculpture and woodworking, I think. And then somehow he ended up in the video game industry, and he took a lot of his not necessarily his ideas, but he took his kind of way of making things as far as making sculptures and stuff like that, and he sort of applied it to his game design in the sense that I think a lot of his sculptures, because I looked at a lot of his old sculptures, and they seem very playful. They seem very like, yeah, I think that's the best word, is playful. And you get that sense when you're playing his games that they're more focused on this idea of play and just playing with something, rather than having like a end game or having like scores or even a point or a story. Anyways, Jose, I'm happy now how Kamen Rider Ghost came out, but the jacket needs to be painted. Oh, okay. So how do you like those Kamen Rider models? Because I've been looking at them and they look pretty neat. I have yet to buy one, but yeah, between the Kamen Rider models and the Ultraman models, they do look pretty interesting. I kind of want one because I have a bunch of effects parts. Here's an example. I have a bunch of effects parts, like this kind of like Dragon Ball looking one, which I suppose would look really cool with one of the Dragon Ball figures or a Kamen Rider figure. Anyways. Let's start on the frosty parts now. This one's a good one. Let's start applying the Valhallan Snow. Is that what it's called? Technical Valhallan Blizzard. Let's start. I don't know if this stuff needs to be shaken, but let's shake it anyways. Yeah. Keita Takahashi. Really very interesting person as far as like game development goes. So this is the snow. Take a look at this. This is how that Valhallan snow material looks like. It's kind of like a snowy pasty thing with a bit of gloss, and I think that there's like little micro beads in them too. But let's actually just put some into this cap here that I have off to the side. I really don't know how much I need. Let's just get a little bit at a time. Been building a few of them. The build is great, just disappointed on the color correction stickers, but if you paint, this shouldn't be a problem. Right. Yeah, I guess they do that because they figure a lot of younger people are gonna want those models. So they think that, like, younger people will be more excited about the models if they make it easier to put together like that. But for people like us, I guess, you know, we're just gonna have to end up painting it. But yeah, like, I mean, like you were saying, if you paint it, it shouldn't be a problem. Jose, you like them? Cool. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Kamen Rider or Ultraman. I have to say, I don't know too much about them, but I like the look of the figures, like, and the outfits and stuff, especially Kamen Rider. I like some of the designs for Kamen Rider. Very cool. Alright guys, this is it. Let's just slap this stuff on. Snow. We gotta think like a Canadian here. We gotta be truly Canadian. And I don't think it's a good idea to really pile up the snow everywhere, so let's just kind of think about strategically placing this stuff in a way that makes sense. And we can kind of build up the detail. It does kind of dry clear wherever it thins out. So, and the other good tip that I saw was, if you think about snow and how snow builds up and how it blows in the wind, you want to think about how the snow is going to be affected by wind, and so you kind of want to go in a single direction as you're applying this stuff. This is one of those bravery test kind of things, though, where it's like, you might like how your model looks, or your base looks, and it's like, shit, is this gonna screw it up? So you kind of just have to go with it and hope for the best. I believe that there's a bit of gloss in this too, to create a slightly glossy look. And Susanoo, it's looking pretty great. Yeah, gosh. I really want that model, but it's kind of hard to find. Well, I mean, you can always pony up the cash for it somewhere. I'm sure I can find it somewhere, but as far as like my local retail, I haven't really seen it. And I think that looks pretty good. Like, just like that. You know, you kind of don't want to overdo it. That's the other thing. You can always add more later, but you don't want to add too much more. Or you don't want to add too much at a single time. Otherwise it's going to be kind of hard to go back. But I think that looks pretty good as far as an icy, frosty base. What do y'all think? You like that, Jose? Cool. Yeah. Wait, am I correct in saying you're in Hawaii, Jose? What's your frame of reference for snow? What's your snow experience like? Vanilla looks cold? Okay. Nah? Oh, you're not? Okay. Speaking strictly from my Canadian experience, this looks pretty decent. And it does have a bit of depth to it. Like, it does look frosty. Okay, Jose's from Pennsylvania. Okay. You know about snow. I think I've been by Pennsylvania before, but it was never actually like a place that I visited, just kind of just drove by it, maybe. Yowza. What's up, Yowza? How's it going? So today, Yowza, just to keep you abreast of the situation, we are experimenting with bases and resin and snow and creating a snow and icy effect. And it seems like we're on the right track. It seems like we are kind of on the right track. So I'm feeling pretty confident. So just imagine these two things together, right? Just imagine snow-covered land and an icy, snowy situation.